Have you ever wondered why some people seem to grow lonelier as they age, while others stay surrounded by love and connection? It's not just about wrinkles or slowing down. As we get older, we all pick up habits, small, sneaky ones that can quietly push people away, damage our relationships, and make life harder than it needs to be. The scariest part? Most of us don't even realize we're doing them until it's too late. But here's the good news. You have the power to change them, and this video will show you how. We're diving into the ugly habits that no one talks about, the ones that can creep into your life and steal your joy, your health, and your closeness with others. Why should you watch until the end? Because we're uncovering 9 surprising traps that could be affecting you or someone you love right now, plus simple, practical fixes to break free. Habit number 7 will shock you. It's the one most people miss until it's cost them dearly. If you've ever felt disconnected, stuck, or just curious about what might be holding you back, this is for you. Let's get started, because the longer you wait, the harder it gets to change. The 9 habits that can erode your golden years. Habit number 1. The trap of chronic negativity and criticism. It is remarkably easy to slip into a cycle of negativity as we age. The world changes, our bodies ache, and the news cycle is a constant barrage of frustrating information. Venting can feel like a release, but when negativity becomes your default mode of communication, it becomes a shield that isolates you. Here is the psychological truth. Human beings are naturally drawn to positivity. Chronic complaining, no matter how justified, is emotionally draining for the listener. A study from the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that exposure to repeated complaints can actually impair a listener's cognitive function and lower their mood. Over time, friends and family may subconsciously start to avoid deeper conversations with you to protect their own emotional energy. This habit often manifests in a few key ways. Medical complaints. While your health concerns are valid, making them the primary topic of every conversation can be overwhelming for others. Generational criticism. Constantly stating that things were better back in my day can make younger family members feel judged and invalidated, creating a wall between generations. Global negativity. Focusing only on what's wrong with the world can make you appear cynical and unapproachable. The professional fix. The 3 positives rule. Before you voice a complaint, make a conscious effort to mention 3 positive things, no matter how small. This retrains your brain to scan for the good. Shift from criticism to curiosity. Instead of dismissing something you don't understand like a grandchild's hobby, ask questions. Say, "Tell me more about that." Curiosity builds bridges. Criticism builds walls. Set a venting timer. If you need to vent, give yourself a strict time limit, for example, 5 minutes. Once the time is up, intentionally shift the conversation to a more constructive or positive topic. Habit number 2. Neglecting personal hygiene and appearance as we age and our social obligations decrease. It can be easy to think, why bother? This can lead to a slow neglect of personal hygiene and appearance. While it may seem like a personal choice, it has profound psychological effects. How we present ourselves to the world affects not only how others perceive us, but, more importantly, how we perceive ourselves. Neglecting your appearance is not about vanity. It's often a subconscious signal of declining self-respect. A study on geriatric wellness found a strong correlation between attention to personal grooming and higher rates of self-esteem and social engagement in seniors. When we feel good about how we look, we are more likely to want to go out, interact with others, and participate in life. This neglect sends a non-verbal cue to others that you may have given up, which can cause them to treat you with less respect or to distance themselves. The professional fix. The get dressed rule. Make it a non-negotiable habit to get fully dressed every single day, even if you're not going anywhere. This simple act sends a powerful message to your brain that you are showing up for your own life. The power of scent. Our sense of smell is directly linked to memory and emotion. Using a familiar, pleasant scent, a favorite perfume, a nice aftershave, can instantly boost your mood and confidence. Focus on one detail. You don't have to do a full makeover. Focus on one small detail that makes you feel good. A clean-shaven face, a favorite piece of jewelry, or a brightly colored scarf. Habit number 3. Becoming stubborn and resistant to change being set in your ways can feel comfortable. but in a rapidly changing world, it is a fast track to isolation. It's resistance to change, whether it's learning to use a smartphone or trying a new type of food. It's often rooted in a fear of the unknown or a fear of appearing incompetent. However, this resistance sends a clear message to loved ones. I am not willing to meet you in your world. When children and grandchildren communicate primarily through text messages and you refuse to learn, you are effectively cutting yourself off from the daily flow of their lives. From a neurological perspective, embracing new learning is one of the most powerful ways to maintain brain health. The concept of neuroplasticity shows that our brains can form new neural connections at any age. When you learn a new skill, you are literally keeping your brain young and resilient. The professional fix. Embrace the role of the student. Humbly ask a grandchild or a younger friend to teach you something new. It's like how to use a food delivery app or how to video call. This reverses the typical dynamic and builds a powerful intergenerational bond. The Say Yes experiment. For 1 week, make it a goal to say yes to one small new thing each day. It could be listening to a new type of music or trying a different route on your daily walk. This retrains your brain to be open to novelty. Habit number 4. Hoarding and refusing to let go of clutter. Your home is a physical representation of your mental state. When it becomes filled with clutter, it can create a constant low-grade sense of stress and overwhelm. For seniors, this habit can be particularly dangerous. From a psychological standpoint, hoarding is often tied to a fear of letting go of the past or an anxiety about the future. I might need this someday. However, research from Princeton University has shown that a cluttered environment bombards our minds with excessive stimuli, making it harder to focus and increasing cognitive load. This can lead to feelings of anxiety and an inability to relax, even in your own home. From a practical standpoint, clutter is a major safety hazard. It significantly increases the risk of falls, which are the leading cause of fatal and non-fatal injuries in older adults. Stacks of newspapers, boxes in hallways, and excess furniture create an obstacle course that can be deadly. The professional fix. The one-a-day method. The thought of decluttering an entire house is paralyzing. Instead, commit to getting rid of just one item each day. It could be an old magazine or a piece of clothing you haven't worn in years. This small, consistent action leads to profound transformation over time. Digitize your memories. For sentimental items like old birthday cards or photos, take a picture of them with your phone and store them in a digital album. This allows you to keep the memory without the physical clutter. Habit number 5. Losing patience and becoming quick to anger as we age. Combination of factors, chronic pain, hearing loss, a slower pace can lead to a shorter fuse. However, frequent impatience and anger don't just harm others, they harm you. Biologically, every burst of anger releases a flood of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline into your bloodstream.
Ow.
A study from the European Heart Journal found that individuals who experienced frequent, intense bursts of anger had a significantly higher risk of heart attack and stroke. Socially, impatience poisons your interactions. It makes others feel anxious and defensive, and over time, they will begin to avoid you. The professional fix. The pause and label technique. When you feel irritation rising, pause. Take one deep breath and mentally label the feeling. This is frustration. This simple act of labeling, technique used in mindfulness-based stress reduction, creates a small gap between the feeling and your reaction, giving you a chance to choose a calmer response. Practice proactive gratitude. The next time you're in a situation that triggers impatience, like a slow grocery line, intentionally shift your focus to something you are grateful for in that moment. I am grateful I have the health to be standing here and the money to buy this food. This practice makes it neurologically more difficult for your brain to sustain a state of anger. Habit number 6. Over-talking and not actively listening as we accumulate a lifetime of stories and wisdom. It's natural to want to share them. However, this can morph into a habit of dominating every conversation, leaving no space for others to be heard. This is one of the quickest ways to damage a relationship. True connection is a two-way street. When you only talk and never listen, you are sending a clear message. My experiences are more important than yours. Your loved ones will eventually stop trying to share their lives with you, leading to a profound sense of emotional isolation. The professional fix. The question rule. For every one story you tell, make it a rule to ask 2 open-ended questions, instead of "How are you?" which gets a one-word answer. Try "What was the most interesting part of your day?" Practice the 3-second pause. After someone has finished speaking, consciously pause for 3 full seconds before you respond. This prevents you from immediately jumping in with your own story and shows the other person that you are truly absorbing what they said. Habit number 7. Pushing people away instead of asking for help. Fierce independence is often seen as a virtue, but in our later years, it can become a self-imposed prison. Refusing to ask for or accept help is not a sign of strength. It is often a sign of pride or fear that is actively pushing away the very connections you need most. People genuinely want to help. Gives them a sense of purpose and connection. When you repeatedly reject their offers, they will eventually stop trying, not because they don't care, but because you have taught them that their help is not wanted. This leads to a state of proud loneliness. The professional fix. The small yes. Start by saying yes to small offers of help. If someone offers to carry a grocery bag, say thank you. That would be lovely. This trains you to become more comfortable with receiving care. Ask for specific, non-urgent help. Instead of waiting for a crisis, ask for help with small, specific tasks. Could you help me reach that box on the top shelf when you have a moment? This makes asking feel less like an emergency and more like a normal part of interdependent living. Habit number 8. Being too frugal to enjoy life after a lifetime of responsible saving. It can be incredibly difficult to switch from a saving mindset to a spending mindset. This can lead to a habit of being so frugal that you deny yourself the very experiences that make your golden years fulfilling. Numerous psychological studies have shown that spending money on experiences like travel, a nice meal out, or a class brings far more lasting joy than spending on material possessions. Your money is a tool. Its purpose is to support your well-being and happiness. The professional fix. Create a fun fund. Set aside a specific, guilt-free amount of money each month that is designated only for enjoyment. This reframes spending on yourself not as an indulgence but as a planned and important part of your budget. Invest in shared experiences instead of buying material gifts for your children and grandchildren. Spend that money on creating a shared memory, like a family trip to a local attraction or a special dinner. Habit number 9. Ignoring your own health problems. This is perhaps the most dangerous habit of all. Brushing off symptoms like persistent dizziness, shortness of breath, or unexplained fatigue is just part of getting older is a form of denial that can have life-threatening consequences. Small symptoms are your body's early warning system. Ignoring them does not make them go away. It simply allows them to grow into major health crises. This habit is often rooted in a fear of what a doctor might find, but delaying a checkup only leads to worse outcomes. The professional fix. Keep a health journal. For 1 week, write down any small aches, pains, or symptoms you experience, and when they occur. Seeing a pattern on paper can make it harder to ignore and gives you specific information to share with your doctor. Schedule your checkups proactively. Don't wait for a problem to arise. Treat your annual checkups as a non-negotiable part of your self-care routine. Prevention is always easier than crisis management. As we reflect on these habits, it's clear that aging with grace, connection, and joy is not a matter of luck. It's a matter of choice. It's about having the courage to look at our own patterns and the willingness to make small, consistent changes. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one lesson from today's video that you're committed to practicing moving forward? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your honesty might just be the inspiration someone else needs. If you found this video valuable, please give it a like, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe for more practical lessons on living your best life at any age. Thank you for watching.